But Ben, try tossing the USB dongle from your gold headset into the PC.
There you go.
You can use that.
Yeah, it'll work.
Oh, no, I gave that to my dad. Never mind. I was like, where the hell is it now? All right, so here we go.
Is it a little disturbing that you gave your dad your dongle? Just throwing it out there.
We're not recording, right? God damn it. Sorry, guys.
Sounds like a pretty good setup you got
If
there,
you don't move, he can't see you.
Just don't move the dongle.
Jurassic Ben.
No, my kids and their toys. Everywhere.
You have that problem too, huh?
Hello and welcome. This is episode 11 of Hardcore Casual. See, we didn't stop at 10. We told you guys we were going to keep going.
Hello.
Oh, I totally forgot this was episode 11. I should have pulled up that video of the Scottish guys in the elevator.
11!
11!
Who is this?
As Dan and Ben have zero idea what we're talking about.
And that's 100% correct.
Oh, I will have. We will forward that out.
Yes.
Here in just a moment.
Yes. I hope you can find it because I don't remember what it was called.
I'm going to give a shout out to our Scottish friend Jim because I think he sent it to us.
He did. Scottish
Jim.
Scottish Jim. If you're listening, Scottish Jim, we love you. We miss your Scottish charms.
Yes, we do.
And your spotted dick.
Oh,
Wait,
my.
what?
We were joking around with him being from Scotland and then by way of Canada now. He was joking around about some of the candies and food and stuff like that he used to be able to get in Scotland, but now he can't get because he's in Canada. And I joked around because in the grocery store near me, they have like a European section, and in there I always laugh about it because there is like this canned dessert called spotted dick. Yes, exactly what you want to put in your mouth, right? But I made the joke at one point, and he basically talked me down. I'm like, "Don't you bad talk the spotted dick."
It was fabulous. He takes his spotted dick very seriously.
That is just glorious.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it is.
And it actually sounded good from what I remember. Like, you know,
I would say that, Jen.
I could go for some of that.
Don't judge a spotted dick by its cover.
Exactly. So welcome, yes, 11.
11.
Ooh, and speaking of 11, the new Stranger Things season's coming out soon. Pretty damn excited for that.
It's the end of the month, right?
That's right.
I'm not part of the crew. How does that work with 11?
You need to watch.
Yeah, you need to watch that.
Yeah,
then.
like I
Perfect
don't
time
think...
of year to watch it too. Yeah, watch
It's actually really, really good. And you know that I don't watch TV shows that have real people. Like, that is not a thing that Jen does. But that one got me. So, highly recommended.
All right, I'll put it on my list of things I haven't watched yet that everybody says I should.
Yeah, but I said it, so that makes it, like, that gives it higher priority.
I'll put it in there with, like, The Shield and NYPD Blue.
No,
and
it's
Sons
way
of
higher
and
priority.
Game of
than all of
Thrones.
that.
and
Breaking
easy to
Bad.
binge watch because it's just one season so far.
Basically, I'll put it in there with any show that someone says, hey, you should watch this. It doesn't include The Walking Dead because I actually watched that.
Yeah.
And then I'll just tell you that I have to watch all of those shows because I never watch them.
No, actually, Josh, you know what you need to do? Because it's Halloween almost, is you need to play The Last of Us. That game
While watching
so,
Stranger Things.
so good, man. That's the voice. That story, man. You're missing out, bro.
I did see that. Actually, I was flipping around here before we got started. I saw a preview for The Evil Within 2.
Oh.
And that looked pretty good for Halloween, but I don't think it's coming out prior to Halloween, so.
Well, that's...
So anyway, that's a good lead-in, right? It's like
yeah, sort of.
Evil Within 2 came out, didn't it? Like 2 days ago?
Yeah, it's PewDiePie already has some
Yeah, they just came
Let's
out.
Play videos.
Oh, I thought that was on the demo coming up soon. I'm going to flip to the wrong part of the menu or something.
So there's a pleasant surprise then.
October 13th.
Friday the 13th, man. That's when it came out.
Interesting.
So there you go.
It looks. Yeah, I saw some of his Let's Play, and it's pretty damn disturbing.
PewDiePie.
Apparently
is
not
pretty
as
damn
not as
disturbing.
scary as the first one though.
Yeah.
From the initial review is what they says. But I never played either.
So PewDiePie is still out there, huh?
Apparently.
Hasn't gotten himself in trouble right on out of existence yet, I guess. Anyway. Moving right along, because I'm not talking about PewDiePie anymore.
He gone.
He gone. What is everybody playing? I kind of want to start with Dan. Well, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I should start with Josh. We're all kind of...
Well, my list, unlike last week, my list has shrunk heavily. I was saddened to find out that that Gran Turismo Sport, the demo is no longer. It comes out on Tuesday, so they shut down the servers for the demo. So all I can do is look at the preview of the cars rolling around without actually being able to play it.
Aw.
But that game, the little amount I did get to play of it, still such a pretty game. So I'm looking forward to that. Even though now I can't play the demo anymore. I shed a tear whenever I deleted the demo off the system. So,
Oh,
meh. But outside of that, happy to get through the raid a few more times and carry a few people there with the old D2 run. Still trying to get that prestige thing figured out so we can get through that, and because I didn't get the glowy head stuff like other people did.
platinum trophy.
Yeah, kids and their trophies. It pretty much has been those couple of things. I've watched my kid play a little bit of Warframe. I downloaded that, and he has since taken it up like a kid to candy. But I have not had a chance to really play it, so he's all hyped up about it and was wanting to show me all these, like, I got this spaceship and I changed it to a different color and I found this secret room and I did this thing. And I'm like, I'm sorry, bud. I'm trying to do this, and this thing that I'm not getting help with. So, yeah.
How old is your kid, by the way?
He is 12.
Oh, nice. Good age.
So he's at that point where he wants to complain about having to do minuscule chores, but wants to play video games all the time. So
I feel that.
Yep. So right now it's pretty much just been D2, a little bit of the Gran Turismo demo, just randomly flipping through my my library, and I played a couple games of Hustle Kings Pool a little earlier, and right up to the point whenever we started the podcast here. But that's more of a personal fun goof off thing that I'd like to do in real life as well. So no big deal.
Hustle or play pool?
That answer will go unnamed, sir. Every day I'm hustling. No, I like to play. I like my fair share of poker and other card games, and my fair share of pool and other skill games, etc., like that. But pool. Yes, heavy on the brake, heavy-handed. So what are you guys playing?
We don't know what that means.
Are you sure?
I don't know what that means.
Are you sure, Jen? There could be random innuendos about being heavy-handed.
I mean...
I think it's funny that the word innuendo is in turn its own self an innuendo.
In this group, yes.
Yes! Innuendo. Which is totally why, Dan, whenever you were trying to figure out what to name your company on GTA 5, that's why I threw that out there.
Holy shit! Speaking of GTA 5, guys, have you seen the new mode that they've released? Looks fucking amazing.
Please tell us.
It's called it's a form of no. It's called the Transformers race or something, like Transforms or something.
Oh yeah.
Basically, like it's just a normal racing circuit, but every every section has like it transforms you into a different type of vehicle. So you'll be like leaping off this ramp into the over these buildings, and there's this like plate or something that you go past, and it turns your car into a plane. So you guys are jetting past all the buildings, and then you go under the bridge, and there's a plate there that changes you into like jet skis, and it's ridiculous. It looks amazing.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And now they have flying motorcycles in the game, so and maybe
Because why not, right?
of course. I
thought they had one of those.
But it's
before.
so ridiculous how it just keeps its audience so entertained. Like, obviously we're not playing it, so I take it back. I'm not
I
entertained.
still dig it up every once in a while. D2's succubus-like nature just has pulled me in for a bit. Don't you worry, GTA. I'll come back. I still love you.
Same here.
Fleesa is waiting.
You can either have Fleesa or you can have me.
God.
Oh. All right.
So, Ben, since you had a good idea there with the old GTA love, what are you playing?
Well, just like this entire group here, I've been suckling on the D2 teat still this week, and it's been amazing. We finished the Prestige Nightfall, which was the only trophy I needed to platinum the game, so I'm happy that I've taken care of that.
Nice.
Iron Banner has been somewhat disappointing. I gotta say, like I love D2. I hope there's a big and bright future for the game, but I can start feeling the D1 thing that happened like after, a few weeks after the release of a new DLC, it's like back to the grind again and like, okay, let's find another game. But I don't know. I've been a little disappointed with Iron Banner, just the whole token system that's kind of screwing everyone over, getting the same item every single time. I haven't gotten any armor to drop. I've opened like 11 packages now. So, and the whole fact that Iron Banner used to be about like testing your skill, but also, incorporating your light level. So it wasn't just the noobs that were grinding for, armor. They were actually playing the objectives and playing the way that how you had to play so that you can, actually do something. But
I do think that was interesting, just so you didn't have those folks that were Crucible heavy, like that's all they did. In there that would, you'd randomly see like a level 8 character in there just smoking people. The light level actually had reasoning behind it, or at least in the Iron Banner anyway. But who knows?
I just feel like all the improvements, or at least the adjustments and the additions that they made with D1 are completely absent with D2 now. Like, I know it's stupid and all, but like, where are the horns for the Sparrow? Like all that stuff. Where's SRL? Why are they waiting so long to put this stuff in when it's been part of D1? I can put in D1 right now and start playing it, but I don't want to do that. I want to play D2, the game that I'm excited to play and paid for now, but it's not there. So I just feel a little let down, I guess. The hype is slowly dying for me, but it's okay because I have Stardew Valley now.
And that's the reveal of the week.
Dun dun dun.
Yes.
So
I after that incessant trolling last week on Jen's playing of that game, I decided to buy it for the PS4, test it out, and I totally saw its merit, and I was pretty damn hooked on it. I don't know if it was because it was a really, really amazing game or just because it's incredibly effective at, getting its hooks in you and feeding that addictive personality that us gamers always have. But the thing I was talking about with them was saying how this game is perfect for, a mobile console like the Switch. I think it was the perfect thing for that. But it just felt kind of weird playing it on the PS4 when I have, I'm sitting down on the couch. I think I'd rather be playing something else on my PS4. But, with the SNES thing, I decided, hey, maybe it's time to test out the Switch. So,
So you bought a Switch for Stardew Valley?
No, not for that, because I've been wanting one for a while, and I'm excited to try the other things, and it's been something that I've been wanting to get for a while now, especially playing Zelda, and I've been a Nintendo fan for a while, namely not so much as Jen, but I really want to play the new stuff that comes out. So, yeah. There was something else I wanted to say. Now I forgot.
It'll come back.
I don't know. Let's talk about Stardew Valley, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. I meant to say my take on it. I haven't played much of it at all. Maybe like an hour or so. But I can tell you, it's an awesome game. Everything I thought it would be. It is Minecraft, The Sims, everything all in one. I love it.
So Jen, does that mean that's what you've been playing?
Of course, it's what I've been playing, among other things. But I've made it into summer of my first year. As predicted, nobody danced with me at the flower festival. Bunch of jerks.
Hashtag forever alone.
Seriously, it's like, damn, this is not supposed to mirror my real life, people. Yeah, I'm in summer. I've made it to level 70. Is that what I said? In the mines, I think. So, moving right along.
Moving on up.
It's.
I don't have that on my soundboard. Sorry.
Well. What are we going to do with you? You're fired.
I'll just go over here.
You're fired.
You fired. Yeah, I mean, it's still... I made some sprinklers after I realized that I had them, which means that my little farm is not set up whatsoever for those to be effective, but we'll see. We'll see how that works out. Anyway, so, Dan, you could dust off Stardew Valley, or we could just keep playing the other thing that we're dabbling into right now.
Yes, a new venture into Warframe. Because that's pretty much what's taking up most of my week. I've been playing Destiny 2 and got a little frustrated with a couple of fruitless nights trying to get certain quests and things done. And Warframe's always been like on the back burner for me, like a game that I want to get into that I only tried a couple of times and probably didn't give it a proper shot because it has such a huge learning curve. But I'm kind of determined now to give it a real college try and see if it's for me, because the gameplay itself is a lot of fun. I find it's just the progression and the whole systems thing behind it that's kind of hard to wrap your head around. But so far, so good. I know that Jen just cracked it open too, right?
Yes. I actually started last night? Yesterday? Friday? I don't know. Recently.
I'm just confused now.
I started recently on Warframe.
And what's your take on it so far?
I didn't like it at first, I wasn't sure about it at first. I picked it back up again. Yeah, it must have been Friday that I played the first time, because I picked it back up again yesterday and did a real mission. And I like the gameplay, but I think there are a lot of little things that kind of drive me crazy. Like, they don't tell you anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't tell you anything. Like, the whole first, like, the intro mission is kind of as close to a tutorial as you're ever going to get. And she's like, block his laser beam. And I'm like, how the fuck do I do that? And
yeah.
She never did tell me, and I never did make it happen, but I managed to finish the quest anyway.
Yeah, it's like the game should come with a full instruction manual. It's probably about 100 plus pages before you can even fire it up. But to compound the problem, the first time I really gave it a proper try a few months ago, I had a friend of ours carrying me through it, and unfortunately didn't explain it all that well or at all. Or if he did, I just didn't retain it, because I got carried through like a planet or two, and then I just had even less of a clue of what I was supposed to be doing. But that being said, now as I'm starting to research a few things, seeing what the process is, what you're trying to level up, how all that works. There's something that's hooking me in more and more. Like it's ninjas in space pretty much, like in a kind of Diablo loot grind, optimizing your gear kind of thing, which is speaks to me on multiple levels.
Yeah. What starting weapons did you go with?
I don't remember, because I've crafted stuff since then, but I probably went for I think it's the Skana or something like that you had, which is like the melee sword thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had that at one point. I don't remember the other choices. I think maybe it was like an auto rifle or a bow.
Yeah, that was the.
Yeah, I think I went for the bow.
Oh, so did I.
An
The bow,
auto bow rifle.
the bow, and the little throwing knives, which the name just escaped me. Kunai, I think.
Okay.
I don't know. But they're, the little throwing knife thingies and the sword. So I was attempting to go for the, like, stealthy option, which I'm moderately successful that way, but I don't think it's meant to really be truly a stealthy game.
I think it depends on the mission. Like you've got some where you need to extract, like you need to hack into these computers and get info out of them. And if you set off alarms, then a timer goes off and you've got to rush to it before it closes off. So like those, there's definitely a stealth element to it. You want to get in, and if you kill anything, you do it behind their back so that them spotting you. But then you've got the total opposite where you're doing assault missions where you have to kill like 200 enemies before you complete it. So it's like, that's the fun part, is that there's, the similarities in the way the game works, but the missions themselves have like very different natures, which I kind of find fun. And that's, part of, I guess, of the incentive of having multiple Warframes and multiple weapon sets to plan out what kind of mission you want to do, which one of your setups is the best one to do this kind, and who else you're teamed up with in your party.
Yeah.
With, other people who might, have certain strengths to do that mission or not.
Yeah, I haven't really, we haven't.
Yeah, I'm not there yet. I can just see how, I'm assuming the end game works, which I'm like not even close to getting to now. I've only got a few hours into the game myself too. But yeah, I'm driven to give it a proper shot and really get into it to see if it's something that I'll play long term. But so far my impressions are good after giving it like a third attempt now.
Yeah, it's just a little confusing with all of the things that you can do. Like, there's the mods, and then you can upgrade the mods, and you can forge new stuff.
Yeah, and knowing which mods are the ones that you should be going for, just, are you going for what fits your playstyle, or should you be going for what fits the Warframe's actual strengths? Mm-hmm. And things like that are hard to figure out, but I guess you kind of, I don't know if they become second nature over time. But over in terms of content and stuff, from what I read, apparently there's, new stuff almost every month in the game. I know there's a huge update that just got pushed on PC a couple of days ago, the Plains of Eidolon, which is coming to console as well. They're saying within a month, which adds like a huge open world element to it. So they're saying it's almost like Warframe 2 just in this one content patch. So I'm curious to see how that's going to play out as well. Like tons of people are streaming it on Twitch right now.
Yeah,
is that free as well?
Yeah, it's all free. The other cool thing about the game is it's completely free to play, not pay to win. Like almost everything is farmable in the game, and if you want to pay, then you can, but you really don't need to.
Right, and it doesn't really. It helps you in the sense that maybe you might level up faster, but I don't think it's really like you have to do this. Yeah,
it's like from what I've been told is like you buy it you'll buy slots for your Warframe so you can have more of them. Same thing for weapons in case there's several that you like, so you can kind of have a bank of them, because otherwise you're forced to sell them or blow them up or things like that. But I'm pretty sure like most if not all the weapons you can either buy them with credits or get them as drops, or if you really want it and you don't want to do that farm, then you can pay real money and get it and just cut that the grinding element of it out, but it's all attainable by other means.
Well, I think you can also pay or use some of their platinum. Or that's the currency, I think, like everything that you craft takes a few hours or days sometimes to do, and you can cut the time out by paying platinum, I think, right?
Yeah, which I wouldn't do. I think it's just a matter of patience, just because there's better things you can buy with it. But if you're the impatient type and you have a credit card that you don't care about, then go nuts.
Yeah.
Make it rain.
Platinum everywhere.
See, my plan right now for the game is to just let you guys play it, and then I'll catch up later whenever you guys have everything figured out.
Yeah, and I think that's
what I'm doing
way. Yeah. And Ben, you played it for a while too, didn't you? And you're kind of like you've been away from it and you're clueless going back to it now.
Well, yeah, I mean, I remember it was like 2014, 2015 when I started playing it on the PS4, 3? No, 4. It had to be 4. Yeah. And I enjoyed the hell out of it. Like, I remember farming all the parts that I needed for the Rhino Warframe, which ended up being my favorite. And, like, I remember the missions were short and sweet. Like, it just was that, pure adrenaline feel. You're running and gunning, and then, it takes only 15 minutes to do a mission, and you're out getting your stuff. I remember there not being too much instruction either, and I was kind of confused, but it's like you guys were saying, you just have to keep playing. The gameplay itself makes it fun so that you keep wanting to do it, and as you're repeating all these elements, you start to get, familiar and master it, and, you kind of figure things out. But they do have tutorials, especially for the modding, I think is really important, but, YouTube community is pretty big with that too, so it's not like there's no information out there.
Yeah, there's
but
a couple
of
streamers I stumbled on that have beginner guides, that are like 30 videos that are all about 45 minutes long. It just gives a sense of how big the game is. I mean, it's huge, but that's what kind of intrigues me about it. It might be hard to learn, but then once you've got a handle on it, it might be that rewarding and that fun to play in the long term.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I think my problem is that I started up the game the other day, and like I have a whole bunch of my Warframes. Like, I just don't know what to do right now. Like, I don't know where to start. I wish there was a way to replay that entire tutorial again and just kind of, get a feel for, why this lady is calling me Tenno and who everybody is, and kind of just, refamiliarize myself with the plot a little bit, and, just kind of feel a connection as to why I want to play this game instead of just,
I think
starting up some random missions, some random planet.
Yeah,
like there's a codex where they've got everything from descriptions of the warframes to the weapons to the people, I think, in all your quests as well. How much it'll let you go back to, I can't say because I haven't tried it, but I know that there's. I'm assuming that's where you would want to take a look to see for that kind of stuff.
Right on. Yeah, I'll definitely have to take a look at that.
Yeah, I think Tenno is like the race that you are, or something.
Yeah, that's us. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, I thought so. Like, is there like an end to the game, like an end game or some sort of story campaign component thing?
Don't know.
That's a question.
There's a narrative going through it.
Destiny. Okay,
yeah. I haven't played enough to.
Darkness.
Yes, in the whole solar system, I think I've been to 4 planets so far, so I really can't tell.
Yeah,
have you been to Uranus yet?
Not yet.
I made it to Venus.
I've done Earth, Venus, parts of Mercury, and I just unlocked Mars, but the missions are too high for me to get in there, or at least to try.
I made it to Venus, and I would just like to point out that the first mission I did on Venus looked exactly the same as one of the missions I did on Earth. I'm like, hold on. Am I on Venus? Did
I know.
change?
That's I think that's kind of one of the prices you pay for playing a free game and all. But
I'm not complaining.
I think, like Dan said, they've released so much. Like, I mean, there's a ton of shit to do, I think.
Yeah, I don't think I'm really complaining. It was just kind of odd to like show up on Venus and
take
be
it easy. Stop being so mean on this game. Gosh.
Well, I know that a lot of it is procedurally generated too. Like, in terms of, like, you might have this kind of mission and it's in this environment, but then what you see, it might vary a fair bit. Like, if you're doing something that with one of the races, or some kind of ship for these kinds of aliens, whatever, like, it'll look the same as something else, but just for that mission. But the actual map is never the same.
Yeah, I mean, it was weird to show up on Venus and find a snowy area with. I was like, this. Maybe I'm just used to Destiny. Isn't Venus like a hot place?
Where those phosphorus pools and the gases and all that shit.
Maybe it was winter. Hello.
Winter on Venus?
Hey Jen, have you unlocked the dark sorceress, like succubus looking Warframe that shoots laser beams?
I've only got my Excalibur and the Frost Prime because of the Twitch thing.
Right.
Yes, I have those two as well.
That's all I got.
Yeah, it definitely. I mean, if you guys are enjoying it, just playing the like kind of default Warframes, where I get Frost Prime's pretty specialized, but I think Excalibur is the one that I started out with. The game kind of gave you one. So you guys are definitely going to enjoy it once you get to the ones where you can like kind of fit your own play style. You know, I'm very tanky.
Yeah.
I like the huge running gun in your face that can take and, you know, soak up all the damage. That's why I like the Rhino. So I'm sure when you guys find your, you know, mainframe. Mainframe.
Well, I'm digging Excalibur so far because I like the melee more than the actual shooting for the most part. Like, I find aiming on, like, with a controller a little bit wonky. I did try it on PC once. I would have to download it again just to compare. But, like, I find the controls or the at least the aiming is a little, like, it feels floaty. It's not as tight as it feels in Destiny. It's maybe an unfair comparison, too. But,
yeah, it's.
But I can't get the feel just
like
right
the
for me.
master at that.
Yeah, so, like, I have more. Like, it feels more natural for me to run in and just slash everything up and, you know, use certain abilities that'll help me one-shot things or group things up, yada, yada, yada. But, yeah, I know I got a couple of parts for Rhino. I know I got a blueprint for Valkyr Prime, but, like, I don't know which one I'm going to migrate to next just yet.
Yep, I don't know how you even know what you got. So
They show up at the end of missions, but I mean, there's like 30 Warframes or something like that. So there's a lot to pick from, and yeah, how to farm them, I have no idea or any of that just yet. But I'll have to figure it out. I'll get back to you and then to Josh so that he can start playing with us.
Yeah. Like, I'm really not the person to guide anybody through anything with this game right now, because about all I can do, I know how to run from my navigation console to the thing that equips your mods and do the auto equip. That's what Jen do between missions. Back and forth.
So I know we were briefly like talking about this beforehand, but like, so give me the breakdown. I hear you guys talking about Frost Prime and something Prime and, you know, etc. Prime and Optimus Prime and all that.
They're Amazon exclusive Warframes.
Yep,
That they arrive at your home in like 2 days when you order it.
They're Amazon exclusive mainframes.
Exactly.
I thought
I think Dan can probably explain that best, or Jen, because I don't even remember why they're Prime.
I thought that Prime was just a distinction in the game for something that's a higher quality, like a better
version of itself. Yeah. Like it's you can get a gun like the Boltor, and then you can get the Boltor Prime, which is the same thing except it has higher stats and perhaps it might be more upgradable than the regular one. So I like the same thing for the Warframes too. Like not I don't know if all of them do, but most they have a Prime version of themselves too. So I think say you like Rhino and you know he's your favorite one, you might want to try to figure out how to farm Rhino Prime because he'll be that much better. So, like, I think that helps there too. You can kind of sample everything and see, oh, you know, this one I'm kind of interested in versus, you know, playing a normal version of a Warframe that you end up not liking at all. You might level it up anyway and then trash it afterwards once you've gotten the XP rewards from it. But if you like it, then you might, you know, be driven to go get that Prime version of it if you can. Because some I know get locked into like a vault, like you can't get them anymore, or you have to buy the parts, like trade with people to get the parts for them. And then again, going back to the whole Prime thing, if you have Amazon Prime, therefore you get Twitch Prime, and with Twitch Prime you get some Prime perks, like Frost Prime. And this month for October, I think it was just like a couple of days ago, they gave a couple of Prime weapons with it as well. So, you know, if you're a Twitch Prime member, you'll get some free gear for it as well, which is cool.
It is cool. I'm excited.
I hope my favorite price, so you know
exactly.
Yeah, well, I mean, the fact that it's free to play is cool too, and I'm really interested to see the patch hit PS4 and Xbox One, the Planes one, because apparently it's the biggest thing they've done, and so far a lot of people are streaming it, so I'm guessing people are digging it.
Nice. Yeah, that's the only thing I'm really missing from that game is that open world element, like, you know, being able to go to IO or Titan and just kind of fuck around and do some patrols and, you know, team up with people. Where else? I think right now you're either in your ship or you're doing a mission. You know.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm excited. I hope you guys, you know, really get into it, and then you can kind of teach us again, and it might be a good Destiny replacement when we start all kind of getting depressed and
during downtime
waiting for the new DLC.
I totally see it as having that potential because it seems like it's deep enough to keep us entertained between other things for a long time.
And it seems like it's a quick thing too. You don't have to do a 3-hour raid or anything. You can kind of get in there, do some stuff, and
yeah, our buddy Gary that we play with, I know he's been playing this for a long time, and his, the main thing that he'll vouch for with Warframe is that you can play 15 minutes and you'll progress towards something, which is fun. I mean, I like that. Like even if it's just unlocking one node on a planet or getting a few materials for a gun that I know I want, getting something done in a small chunk of time, then that's rewarding to me. Unlike some nights in Destiny where you just can't get a quest done, spend several hours, and then just want to throw your controller.
We haven't had any of those now, have we?
No. Oh, not last night. Don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Definitely not last night.
Yeah, definitely not.
Definitely not.
I was too busy sleeping, so I missed all the fun with you guys. Sorry.
It wasn't all that fun, so you don't miss much. I loved hanging out with you guys. Just the gameplay part sucked.
Maybe that's why it wasn't fun. We should blame Josh.
You know what? That's what it was. I wasn't there, so it's obviously my fault. Sorry.
Josh is the new Chris. We blame everything on Josh when he's not there.
That's right.
Well,
because after all, Chris was never there.
Fucking Chris.
He doesn't exist.
What?
And there goes the stuff that people aren't going to understand again.
Yep. Yeah.
They can figure it out themselves.
Well, anyway.
Send us a message and we'll explain.
Yeah.
Or see us on Discord.
All right.
Yeah.
Is that everything that we've been playing?
Yep, that rounds it up for me.
I think so.
All right. So, let's see. Mm-hmm. Are we moving on to Peripherals Round 2?
Peripheral Madness.
Oh, I guess this kind of has to do with Peripherals too. Are you guys still playing Rocksmith?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
I would definitely say that is a peripheral.
Yeah.
At least I would believe
seems
so.
Like I think you guys were actually, Jen was actually learning how to play the guitar and all, right? That's pretty cool. Yeah. I didn't really know that not technology, but that peripheral existed actually. Something that's not Guitar Hero and just 5 buttons, but actually an entire fret with strings, and sounds like a pretty cool premise.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine that used to make his own, music, and it was a situation where he played all of his instruments, but he had to have a special program and everything where he could plug an actual. He had a box that he plugged in the back of his computer that he could plug his guitar into, but it was a whole process. Like he had to have a whole big system loaded into his computer, and it ate up a bunch of his hard drive space. And anytime he was recording stuff, he could, with the computer he had at the time, it was like he could make, one good song somewhere before he had to export all of it to an external drive or something, and then fry it all and start over again. Like it was just eating up lots of his hard drive space. So I was happy to see that, they built off of the one thing that everybody was tired of, which was, Guitar Hero, Rock Band, because it was pretty much the same game all over again, the same 5 buttons, and decided to actually, break it out into an actual guitar, take that, USB capability that everything has now. I mean, even back to your, my Xbox 360 had, 2 USB ports on it. And, I know that the PS3 had USB ports and everything, and taking advantage of those extra ports to in turn be able to plug an actual guitar into and have it realize what you're playing, what you're doing. So, and the fact that you're actually in real life learning how to play a song, I think that that's a great way to kind of round out a peripheral. And instead of having, I know people that have, I always have a little chuckle. I go to the place and I see the Rock Band, drum set folded up in the corner of their room or something like that. And like a washed out, recyclable trash can or something that's got 3 of the Rock Band guitars hanging out of it somewhere.
The crappy USB mic with the frayed wires.
Yeah, they have all that stuff floating around. And I mean, yeah, it's, for all intents and purposes, it was a peripheral because it was basically just one thing that had its own little idea. You couldn't use it for other games. I mean, I couldn't sit around, and play D2 with my Rocksmith guitar or something like that, which would be funny to have it do that. But
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, challenge accepted. That would be interesting though if you played something like Street Fighter, but both of you had to use like Rock Band guitars. That would be interesting.
I'm sure it's been done. There's someone that played Dark Souls with the Donkey Kong controller.
Oh my god, that was
so yeah,
ridiculous.
it's got to be out there. I'm sure someone's done Callus with a Dance Dance Revolution dance pad by now.
Oh my gosh, that would be entertaining.
I wouldn't be surprised. my stance on Rocksmith is different though, like because I've got I've been playing guitar since I was 12, so I've got my guitars, I've got my studio gear, I've got my amps, I've got my Rock Band stuff, and I've got the whole spectrum, I guess, of that. And what I liked about Rocksmith is it's a tool to learn. I don't see it as a game. Like, it's entertaining as hell. If you're already a guitarist, you want to kind of just noodle around, play a few songs, and be able to plug in quickly. That's fun too. Because to have the same thing set up on a computer where you either hook up with a DI or a direct unit, which is essentially what that cable does with Rocksmith. And then set up your virtual instruments, your virtual amps and all that. It's still more work than just plugging in and firing up the game. So if you just want to play along to a song or just have go into a session where you can just play whatever, it's quick and easy. Like for me at work, I have it ready just, for a 15-minute coffee break or the end of a lunch break. I'll fire it up and just noodle around on my guitar because I wouldn't otherwise.
Yeah.
Which is, it helped get me back into it. When my kids came around, I had less time to play it, and I tend to like to play with my loud tube amps, which are way too loud for small kids. So being able to pop a headset on and play something that sounds good, unlike a lot of, digital units which don't, or, the sound like emulated, faking the sound of a guitar amp, it's still a lot of cabling, a lot of time to hook everything up. So just having the USB cable, plug it in and fire up Rocksmith has been a quick shortcut for that. And I've been digging it for that, that side of it.
See, I look at the connection. So I look back to Guitar Hero. I look back to Rock Band. And I take it from playing those guitars and those games and realizing, I played drums for, Jesus, almost all my life now, it seems like. And, I couldn't really sit down with the patience and learn to play guitar until I was, in my late teens, early 20s. And it was a situation where whenever I started to learn how to play guitar and then I started playing Guitar Hero, I was like, this doesn't make sense. Like they'd have some of the notes going back and forth and I'm listening to the song and in my head I'm thinking, that's a low note. This is a high note, but it's having me go back up the fret, which is like
absolutely
counterintuitive. And so
I feel you.
Getting over that was one thing, but I just like the fact that whenever you go to Rocksmith, they have the colored strings that kind of make you get that thought process in your head that you're probably going to switch fingers. Because, whenever you're playing Rock Band, you basically had a different finger for each button that was going to be on there.
Yeah.
And so knowing where those colors were, you're going to be on a different string, but then being able to actually work that into, hey, let's give you the easiest bare bones version of a song, and then we're going to add on it. We're going to build on it. We're going to go even further until you get to 100% of 100% of the song at real speed. So I do like the fact that they kind of built off of what was already there in the previous, predecessors of the, of the cheesy plastic instruments. So
that's a good point.
Rock Band was the party thing. There were nights with my friends where we'd literally have Rock Band parties. Like people would have karaoke ones. Like the two things in it that were the more realistic ones were really whoever was singing and the drums. Like the rest, bass and guitar, it didn't matter. You'd throw someone on it with the most basic difficulty on it, and they'd get through it, and it would be fun.
Yeah.
If you did like that and you're interested in playing guitar, then Rocksmith was a logical segue to go from that and say, hey, let's, use a video game format to learn how to play the real instrument.
Yeah.
So,
because the Guitar Hero guitar was essentially just a keyboard with 5 buttons or 5 keys.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's all it was.
Yep, that is correct, sir. Yeah. So I think about that. I know a lot. Pardon me. Excuse me. I know last week we talked about all of the other peripheral stuff with using like the modded controllers and a couple things of that nature, which is funny. I just saw one of those Facebook Marketplace things. Somebody was selling one for Xbox, and I was like, oh, But some of the other things, I go back peripheral wise all the way back to the NES. I had one of the initial, Rob machines that
Nice.
had it. It had the little port with the spinning tops, the gyroscopes, if you will. That it would you send it an instruction, and it would pick one of the things up off the platform and move it and set it down, and pick another one up and put it down on top. And there was only 2 platforms because basically your second controller got snapped into this thing, and that's what it was used for.
Like my cousin had one, but we never actually tried it, so I still had no clue.
I need to look this up. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a little robot, Rob, R-O-B.
Yep. If you've ever played Smash Brothers, like Smash Brothers Brawl, there was one of the little robot characters in there that was, R-O-B, and it is literally a throwback
Star Fox too, or no?
No, I don't think he was in Star Fox.
Rob 64.
Yes, he was. He was in.
Oh, he was.
He was in the cockpit of the ship for Star Fox 64.
Location confirmed. Sending supplies.
Yep, that's
Oh
him.
my God, you're right.
You know what? I didn't play Star Fox 64, so that might have been why I didn't see him there.
He was the pilot of the ship, or the big ship, I think. That's awesome. That's cool that they incorporate him then throughout the generations.
Nice. Yeah, but it was literally, there was a big plastic frame thing that that came in the box with them, and you could, you just snapped in the second controller into it, and basically on the back of it there was this little machine that made the gyroscope tops spin faster, and so you'd push a button and he would pick one up and drop it in there, and these things would just spin super crazy, and he'd pick it back up and you could tell it to drop it on the blue button or the red button, which then in turn pushed the A or V button on the controller. And then it just corresponded with a game. And there weren't many games out there. I mean, there was one game that was out there. It was called Gyromite. And it was literally like on controller 1, you controlled where this little scientist guy was. And controller 2 was the A and B with the tops. But you drop the platform down and it would make these like pistons move up or down. And the idea was you had to take the thing off of one and put it on another to open this piston, and take it off this other one and put it on there. And they got more and more complex as you went along. But basically you get to the point where you just got frustrated and you just took the other controller and you'd put it on your lap, and just as you're running through there, you'd push the A or the B and you just stopped using the Rob. There was apparently another game out there that I don't even know the premise of. I don't even know where it was out there, but I think some of these peripherals, I think of that, and I think of the Power Glove, which
the Power Glove.
I've seen make a few runs. If any of you have a free half hour that you want to lose for complete mindlessness, the Power Glove did make a nice little drop in on Kung Fury.
Yes, you're right.
They used to hack themselves back in time to stop Hitler.
Yes.
Oh my God.
It's an awesome movie. It's really well done.
There is no rhyme or reason to the movie. It is just awesome. Just go into that knowing that you're probably going to lose a half hour time and probably laugh. But I've seen it there. I've seen it in a couple other things. I think it even made its own little drop in that movie, The Wizard.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. So, and I've only seen like 2 or 3 games for that out there too. I mean, they had a small niche, but man, some of those things that are out there. You just referenced earlier the guy who did the Dark Souls match with the DK bongos.
Yeah.
I've seen videos of people playing games with like the peripheral stuff. I think there was like a Samba de Amigo thing of maracas out there that were like game controllers you could use.
I've actually seen chiptune musicians use the Power Glove as an instrument live.
Geesh.
What?
They've hacked it to use it as a controller for LSDJ or whatever else they were doing for as a source. I guess they'd use it to convert to MIDI or something, but they're using it as kind of as an instrument.
I think the coolest one I've seen that I really kind of wanted, but I didn't want to spend the money on it at the time, and it would have been one of those moments where you could use it for everything, but it's kind of frivolous. They had a game controller that was shaped like a katana that came out for whenever Onimusha came out for PlayStation. Which, God, I wish they would make another one of those or go back and remake those games. All three of them were just so great. God, think the puzzle solving that you would get from Resident Evil mixed into like samurai, like Japan style time frame. So all sorts of little puzzle fun things like that, all sorts of other crazy things that you had to run around and attack these enemies, and the game was just awesome. But they literally had like a katana that was set up with buttons that you could use. And I thought that was awesome, but I didn't want to spend like $80 on it back at that time. Oh, I'll have to see if I can find it and shoot pictures of it.
Yeah, that sounds. A lot of these things you guys are talking about, I had no idea they existed, mainly because I think I just never really owned an NES. But I remember playing Duck Hunt and what's it called? The other, the skeet shooting one. Oh man, I love that gun. That thing was so freaking awesome.
The old school light gun, man. I had one of my first games. I played the original NES.
I was so fascinated by it. Like, how does it know?
You want me to burst the bubble for you? I'll tell you exactly how it works.
Yeah, please do, man.
On an old CRT TV, because it won't work on a modern TV. It's the whole concept of 480i versus 480p. On that interlaced frame, there was a little block of white light, which is where the gun would pick up where you're shooting. So you'd only see it when you hit the gun. There's a little flash that happens for a fraction of a second, and that's how it would read it. That's why on a new TV it won't work. But if you have an old CRT TV, if you have a wave recording it, slowing it down, you'd be able to see exactly what happens when you pull the trigger.
That's so funny. Wow.
Kids,
interesting.
Dan has spoken.
Newfangled video games. Dan Fogelberg, Pac-Man. So I think, pardon me, that stuff was good. And then it just evolved through time. I mean, there was the Super Scope 6 for, the Super Nintendo, which had a couple of games you could play with it. You go even further outside of that. The Super Nintendo, you still had the Super Scope 6, but you had a game, some CD, whenever they came out with Lethal Enforcers. Those games led into, all the PlayStation games. I'm trying to remember what they called the gun for the PS1. Whenever they started having Time Crisis and those games come through.
Oh, yeah.
You start getting all these like gun peripherals that are out there, and then you start even getting further into the Wii, where they were selling these things you strap onto your controller, and it's like a golf club and a tennis racket and everything, so you could play Wii Sports.
Yeah, that got a little crazy at one point.
Link's
It did.
crossbow training.
Yes. Yes. I think the craziest peripheral I've ever seen was people that were playing MechWarrior back in the day, and they would have just a full-on like
like all the controllers that are made like pretty much just for that, right?
Yeah, it was almost like just like a sit-down cockpit, like 3 fold-out keyboard setup with 2 joystick controllers, and I was like, man, you got way too much free time if that's it.
Yeah. I'm saying that, but then again, I played WoW for almost 10 years, so I shouldn't judge.
Did you have 6 computer monitors? And
No, that I didn't.
Okay, well, I think you're safe.
Did you have 50 buttons on your mouse?
Maybe. If we're talking about peripherals. But actually, if we're going to bring up the topic, I use one of those for work ever since I started playing WoW and getting used to an MMO mouse with all those extra 12 buttons on the side. I use it every day. Like doing sound editing, word processing stuff, graphic design. Like I have things set to keybinds on my mouse that save me a lot of time at work. So yeah, it's the whole other topic, but it's I can't go back to a regular mouse after having worked with one of those.
I actually have one of those too, except I have them mapped to sound effects so that I can make myself happy when I'm using my computer. I have those awesome moments, you know. Bow, 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 bow.
You've turned into a soundboard.
Yes.
Totally. Oh shit! I
love it.
forgot to save this document. Wah, 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 wah.
Well, forget that. Your use is better than mine then. Mine is just for professional use. That is just for awesome.
You should at least set up a few buttons for that in the office, Dan. That'll take care of things for you.
Yep, I'll have to do that too.
When people come into your office. Yeah, there you go. Say what again?
Or have the John Cena music come in or something like that.
There you go. Everybody likes a little entrance music. No big deal.
Have the awkward crickets too, just in case. Also,
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say this. You're fired.
Yeah. Hey, Dan, I'm going to need you to go ahead and come in on Saturday. Could you go ahead and do that for me? Crickets. Oh, yeah, but I think that would pretty much wraps up the stuff with peripherals. I mean, there's all sorts of crazy stuff out there, and it's always good to see whenever, like, you know, Dan talked about it earlier, somebody who pulls something like that, like back out of the woodwork, you know, like the guy doing the Donkey Kong, Dark Souls, things like that. I think it just gives just something else out there to be able to play around with and have fun with and really just open people's eyes up like, geez, somebody spent that much free time to do this and make it work. So if you guys have any interesting videos out there, you know, if you're beating games or destroying weird hard parts of games with a random peripheral, you should send it to us on our Facebook page. Or
any funky stories about funky peripherals too. I think Jen has one of those.
I do.
Oh, tell us, Jen.
I was waiting for that moment where Josh stopped talking so I could, like, and me.
Oh, you should have just broke in and been like, hey, stop talking, big dumb face.
I'm like, wow, he's still going over here filing my nails. Like, geez. I'm kidding.
Well.
So I had this thing. I mean, if we want to talk about crappy peripherals, I had this thing for technically for the Super Nintendo, and I guess supposedly worked on the Sega Genesis as well. I don't know. The internet is telling me that it didn't work for the Super Nintendo, but that's what I used it with. It's called the VictorMax Stuntmaster Virtual Reality Headset.
That's just the greatest name ever, at the very least.
And it was supposed to take.
I bet you some dude named Victor named it. He's like, this is the VictorMax. It's mine.
VictorMax, maybe. I honestly don't know anything about the background of it. But it was supposed to take your boring 16-bit console gameplay and make it into a virtual reality experience for you. And
really,
it was terrible.
Trippy as fuck.
Terrible.
Did you get nauseous with this one too? Because I know you get very nauseous with
it. I don't remember it making me nauseous, but it definitely gave me headaches because it was basically a headset that, and I don't even know exactly how it worked, but like each eye was a different screen, kind of, from what I remember. And it would just, you know, you'd wear this headset and it was like, I don't know, all it did was give me a headache. It was not by any means a high quality screen or anything of the sort. And it was so heavy. It was so heavy. Oh my God. And of course I was...
You worked your neck muscles to the VictorMax.
Oh my goodness.
Thanks, Victor.
That
Josh was rubbing off on
dad. Must have been Victor's dad.
I just remember, like, it would hurt my nose, it would hurt my neck, it would, like, get a headache. Like, that did not...
Sounds like an all-around fun time.
Yeah, it was not a good thing. And I felt so bad, because I remember it was one of those, like, my grandparents bought it for me, and it was this thing that they thought was going to be awesome, and then it was the worst thing ever. And I always felt so bad, so I would keep trying to use it every once in a while. But it just
I don't know, Jen. They bought you a torture device. It seems maybe they weren't thinking it was going to be awesome.
maybe I should
we punish her?
rethink my entire childhood.
Oh my god! I went to go
How
pull
dare
up.
she wear blue lipstick?
God, I went to go pull up that Onimusha controller I was telling you about, and I just ran across this Resident Evil 4 controller that looks like a chainsaw.
Oh, you
remember
remember
that.
I remember that.
God, I want that now.
That's so funny.
Oh,
Yeah, I guess there's a crazy amount of stuff out there. Like people,
Jeez.
man, that's crazy.
Did you ever have the power pad? I think that's what that thing was called.
Yeah, I did.
The big mat that laid on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
That was horrible.
You know what?
My neighbor had that.
I thoroughly used that to cheat by laying it on the floor, and I rolled up
Snap!
all of them except for the last two pads, and I got like that was going to be those two on the pads, and I just got down and used my drumming skill fists to lay down some heavy beats, get my blast beats on, and just run faster than everything on the planet.
I'm pretty sure that's what everybody who had one of those things resorted to doing.
We,
Because it's the only way you could make it work.
We call that cheating.
Oh, snap!
Now, Sensei Dan says you can't cheat in a single-player game.
No.
That's true. Those were his words. What do we tell? He's just gonna edit it out. He always wins.
Yeah, I will.
He's got the power.
Because it's a single-player game, and it's not cheating.
He uses a power glove to edit all that
he was
out.
editing, right?
Yeah, that's
It was taken out of context. There's no repercussions on other people if you cheat in a single-player game.
okay.
If you cheat in a multiplayer game. No, I'm not sure. Well,
Cheating
no,
yourself, damn it.
come on.
You're cheating yourself.
It's just funny.
When you're done with a game, part of the fun on having one on PC is to see if you can mod it or hack it and stuff like that. Or at least for me, if you know you're not going to play it otherwise, it's fun.
I just think it's funny
Yeah,
because
like
I'm pretty sure none of us were taking it that seriously in the first place. And Dan's like, no, there's real philosophy here.
I think it's an interesting topic to discuss. I mean, like it's kind of, to me, it's like kind of having the Game Genie. It's the same premise of, let's try it out and, just go full God mode. It's part of
that's a good topic for another time. Is actually cheating.
Oh, that's a peripheral though. The
Game
Game
Genie.
I had
full circle.
I had a Game Genie for every damn console that I owned. So
I did not. So I guess I'm having that fun on PC on the occasional game.
You've never played Ocarina of Time until you were a young Link with hover boots and a mirror shield.
What?
See, I never had. So I did the Game Genie for the NES and then the Game Genie for the Super Nintendo. But then after that, you had to get like the Game Shark or eventually it turned into the Action Replay.
Exactly. You weren't able to modify the game live anymore. You had to modify the save. So
yeah,
it's Action Replay now.
I remember that. A friend of mine had the Game Shark, and we found somebody online that had an online save that back in college football, you could save the rosters, and then if you ported them to your controller and loaded them in, like one time, it would load all of the names for every player in college football. So we had fun with those. Yay, Game Shark.
Yeah.
I had the Action Replay for the PlayStation 2, and that was the only time that I'd ever gotten one. And it was finicky because it wouldn't work on a lot of games, but it worked on Ratchet and Clank. And let me tell you, there is nothing quite as awesome as Ratchet and Clank with unlimited ammo for the Rhino. If you remember the Rhino.
Rip you a new one.
Yes. With,
cost
of course, unlimited bolts.
A million bolts?
Yeah, with unlimited bolts to buy it and then unlimited ammo for it. It was carnage everywhere.
Back in the day, I spent enough time to gather enough bolts to actually buy that thing legit. Because I loved that guy. That is part of my video game tattoo. Ratchet and Clank are on my arm. Damn it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever played that series.
Oh, they're
me
pretty
neither.
good.
That's the one with the dragon, right? That breathes fire and stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Something like that. I think there's one of those in there somewhere. It's an extra hidden quest.
Gotcha. Something about a ukulele and banjos and something Tasmanian devils or something?
No, that's Final Fantasy VI.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, man.
Well, let's look at our time here. I feel like
What we got?
I feel like we are probably a little over an hour. So if you guys, I think we feel.
Well, we
good
should
about
save
this.
those topics. Yeah, we should save those topics about like the spookiest game that we've ever played and the game that we wished we loved that everyone else loves. That'll be a good 2 topics for when we come back next time, especially right before Halloween, right?
Yeah, the creepy game. That'll be good for next week.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Okay. Well
Insert
then.
suspenseful music.
Dun, dun, dun.
Exactly.
See you next week.
Scariness in general. We love you and goodbye.
Take it easy.
Deuces.
Take it easy, my friends. Stay thirsty.